You started trading at 20, stayed consistent at 1% a day. This is your portfolio at 30. I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now, and I want you to imagine something with me. You are 20 years old. You have $1,000. Maybe it is money you saved from a part-time job. Maybe it's birthday money you never spent. Maybe someone gave it to you and told you to do something smart with it. And instead of spending it, you made a decision. A quiet, boring, unsexy decision that most people your age would never make. You decided to learn trading. Not to get rich overnight, not to buy a Lamborghini, not because some influencer told you to, but because something inside you said, there has to be a smarter way to grow this. Now here's where I need you to stay with me, because what I am about to show you is not a fantasy. It is not a motivational speech. It is mathematics, and mathematics does not lie. If you started at 20 years old with $1,000 and you grew your account by just 1% every single trading day, consistently, for 10 years, by the time you turn 30, your portfolio would be worth more than most people make in their entire lifetime. And I am going to show you exactly how, step by step, number by number. But more importantly, I am going to show you what that journey actually looks like. The moments that test you, the months that break you, the day you almost quit, and the morning you wake up at 29 and realize it actually worked. Section 1, the decision at 20. Let me tell you about you at 20. You do not have much. You have $1,000, a laptop, and too much free time. Everyone around you is spending money on things that will be worthless in a year. Subscriptions, fast fashion, eating out every night. But you are different, not because you are smarter, but because you are asking a different question. While everyone else asks, what can I buy with this money? You ask, what can this money become? That shift, that one tiny difference in how you think about money is the entire game. So you start learning. You watch videos, you read, you open a small demo account. You lose fake money and feel the emotion of real loss. You win fake money and feel the rush of real success. And slowly, you start to understand something that takes most people decades to figure out. The market rewards patience. The market rewards consistency. The market punishes greed, and it absolutely destroys impatience. After 6 months of studying and practicing, you fund your real account with that $1,000, and you make yourself one promise, 1% a day. Just one, not 10, not 20, just one. Most people hear 1% and think, that is nothing. Why bother? And that reaction is exactly why most people never build wealth. Because 1% a day is not nothing. 1% a day is everything. Section 2, the math that changes your life. Let me show you the numbers, and I need you to really hear these. There are approximately 252 trading days in a year. If you grow your account by 1% each trading day, and you reinvest every single gain, you are not adding 252% to your account in a year. You are compounding. And compounding is the closest thing to magic that exists in real life. At 1% per day, compounded daily over 252 trading days, your $1,000 does not become $3,000. It does not become $5,000. It becomes $12,200 in year one. Let that land for a second. You turned $1,000 into $12,200 in 1 year without a second job, without selling anything, without asking anyone for anything. Now, let us keep going. Year 2. You start with $12,200. Same process, same discipline, same 1% a day. End of year 2. Your account is $148,900. Are you still with me? Year 3. You start with $148,900. End of year 3. Your account crosses $1.8 million. I need you to pause here because I know what your brain is doing right now. It is saying, that cannot be real. No one actually does this. This is too good to be true. And you are right to question it because this is the theoretical maximum. This is the math with zero imperfections. Real trading has drawdowns. Real trading has losing months. Real trading has the human brain working against you every single day. But here's what I want you to understand. You do not need to hit 1% every single day. You do not need perfection. You need consistency. You need discipline. You need a system. Even at half that rate, even at 0.5% per day compounded, over 10 years,
You still end up with a portfolio that changes your life permanently. The math is on your side. Time is on your side. The only enemy is you. Now let me take you through the journey. Not the numbers, the feeling. Because the numbers are easy to hear, but the feeling is what either breaks you or makes you. Age 20, year 1. The first few months are exciting. You are learning. Every trade feels like an adventure. You hit your 1% target on some days. You miss it on others. You lose on some days, you come back the next morning. Nobody around you understands what you are doing. Your friends think you are wasting time. Your family is skeptical. Someone tells you trading is gambling, but your account keeps growing. Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Age 21, year 2. This is where the first real test happens. You hit a losing streak, 3 weeks of red. Your account drops from a good position back down. You feel stupid. You feel like you have been lying to yourself. You wonder if everyone who said trading is gambling was right. This is the moment most people quit. But you do not quit. You review your trades. You find the mistakes. You adjust. You come back smaller, more careful, and more precise. And the account recovers, and then exceeds where it was before. That recovery is the real education. Age 23, year 4. Something strange starts happening. The numbers on your screen are no longer small. You look at your account and see a balance that is larger than your parents ever had in savings. And suddenly, the emotions change. Now you are afraid to lose it. Now every trade feels heavier. Now you start making decisions from fear instead of from your system. This is the second major test. And most traders who made it through year 2 fail here. The account grows and the ego grows with it. Overconfidence replaces discipline. Position sizes get bigger than they should. One bad week erases months of work. You have to relearn everything you thought you already knew, but this time at a higher level. This is where the patient trader separates from everyone else. Age 25, year 6. You have now been trading consistently for 6 years. You have lived through crashes. You have lived through euphoria. You have been tested so many times you have lost count.
And something quietly changes. The emotion starts leaving your trading, not because you are numb, but because you have seen it all before. Every scary candle, every sudden drop, every news event that sent markets into chaos. You have a process now, a system you trust because you built it yourself through real experience. You are no longer reacting, you are executing. Your account is growing steadily, not dramatically, not in ways that would make headlines, but every month, without fail, the number goes up. And you have barely thought about it today because you have a life now, a full, present, alive life, and the account just runs quietly in the background. Age 28, year 9. You are sitting at dinner with someone new. They ask what you do. You pause because you still feel strange saying it. I trade, you say. They ask how long you have been doing it. Since I was 20, you say. They nod politely and change the subject. They do not realize what that sentence means. They do not realize the number behind it. They do not realize the decade of mornings and evenings and losing streaks and recoveries that are compressed into that sentence. And you smile because you do not need them to understand. You understand. Section 4, the morning you turn 30. It is your 30th birthday. You open your trading platform, not to trade, just to look. The number on the screen is a number that 20-year-old you could not have imagined, not in a fantasy, not in a dream, certainly not in a $1,000 starting account. But it is real, and it is yours. And here's what makes it different from a lottery win, different from an inheritance, different from any money that just arrives in your life without effort. You earned every single digit of that number. Through 252 trading days a year, through loss and recovery, through the version of you at 23 who almost gave up, through the discipline of age 25 when you stopped caring about what other people thought of your choices, through 10 years of 1%. Not 100%, not overnight, not viral, 1% per day. And now you are 30 years old, with a portfolio that most people will spend their entire working life trying and failing to build. You did not get lucky. You got consistent. Section 5,
what you actually need to start. Now, let me be real with you for a moment, because this is not a fairy tale. 1% a day compounded is an extraordinary target. Professionals at the highest levels would call it exceptional, not because it is impossible, but because consistency at that level demands something that most people are not willing to pay. Not money, discipline. Here is what the journey actually requires. First, a system you trust. Not a strategy you borrowed from a YouTube video and never tested. A real, back-tested, refined system that you understand completely. One that tells you exactly when to enter, exactly when to exit, exactly how much to risk. Without a system, you are not trading, you are guessing. And guessing compounds losses just as powerfully as discipline compounds gains. Second, risk management that never moves. 1 to 2% risk per trade, maximum, non-negotiable. The reason the compounding model works is because your downside is controlled. When you lose small. When you win consistently. That asymmetry is the engine.
If you break your risk rules even once because a trade looks too good to miss, you have already begun to lose. Not just money, trust in yourself. Third, a journal. Every single trade. Entry, exit, reason, emotion, outcome. Not because journaling is a cute habit, because your journal is the only way to see your actual patterns, not the patterns you think you have, the patterns you actually have. Most traders lose not because they cannot analyze a chart, they lose because they cannot analyze themselves. Fourth, patience with the timeline. 10 years sounds long, but you know what else takes 10 years? A medical degree, a law career, building a business from scratch, becoming genuinely great at almost anything. The only difference is that 10 years of consistent trading does not just give you a skill, it gives you an asset that generates money while you sleep. You are not trading for 10 years, you are building for 10 years. Fifth, starting now. Not when you have more money, not when markets are calmer, not when you feel more ready. Because the one thing you absolutely cannot buy back is time. The trader who starts at 20 and reaches 30 with a life-changing portfolio does not get there because they were gifted. They get there because they started early and did not stop. Every year you wait costs you a compounding year, and a compounding year in the later stages of this journey is worth more than you can calculate right now. Closing. I want to ask you one question before I go, and I need you to answer this honestly, not to me, to yourself. If you could go back right now to the day you turned 20, knowing everything you know today about compounding, about patience, about consistency, about what 1% per day can actually become, would you start? I think you already know the answer. The question is not whether you would. The question is whether the version of you sitting here right now is willing to become the 30-year-old in this story. Because that person is not fictional. That person is the logical outcome of the decisions you make in the next 10 years, starting today. You do not need a special account. You do not need a trading mentor with a Lamborghini. You do not need anything other than a system, a rule, a journal, and the quiet, boring, powerful decision to show up every day. 1%. Every day. For 10 years. That is the entire formula. And now, you know it. Drop a comment right now. Tell me honestly, how old are you today? And if you could go back and start at 20, would you? I genuinely want to read every single answer. And if you know someone who is 20 right now, someone who still has time to do this exactly, share this video with them. Because what you just heard might be the most important thing they will ever watch. See you in the next one.